Coach's Corner segment with Coach Matt Griffith, the head football coach and athletic director at Sylacauga High School. Brought to you by Collier Motors Paint and Body. And Coach, by the hair, you chin, right?
We're just talking about it. I'm sure that was a great game to watch. I'm sure it was totally entertaining for the fans, but it's a heck of a one to coach in. I mean, it came down to the wire. We scored with 1.4 seconds left in the fourth quarter to send it into overtime and then have an overtime win against, I tell you, a very fast, very hard-hitting, very well-coached Anniston football team.
You're down a touchdown with less than 2 minutes to go in regulation. Mm-hmm. You're 80 yards away, and you can see your season. Wow, here we are, second game of the year, and we got to get something going in a hurry.
Well, people don't understand. We were talking about it again before, and you practice that scenario offensively. We practice it every Wednesday and every Thursday. We do our 2 minute every Wednesday and every Thursday, and we give ourselves a minute 45 seconds to drive 80 yards. Our defense, and I don't know how many schools do this, our defense practices it every single Wednesday that there's 2 minutes to 2.5 minutes left to go in the ball game, and you're on defense, and you're trying to get the ball back to the offense and hold them for 4 downs, burning your timeouts. We practiced it again yesterday. We do it and do it and do it and do it, in the hope that when it gets that way in a ball games, your kids react naturally. They don't panic, and they do the right things. Our kids handled it very well. Matter of fact, we fumble the snap. The next play we get sacked. We are third and forever from our own 10 and run a reverse for 28 yards to get us out of it. And then we march down. So we marched 90 yards in a minute and 34 seconds to score.
How do you come up? I mean, you're in dire straits right there with the third and long to go, and you run a reverse. What goes into your thinking for a play call like that?
Well, I mean, because he had backed everything up. You've got to get 15 to 18 yards, and he's got his coverage backed all the way up. He's got his backers backed all the way up. Our offense is not necessarily geared for that third and long and to have that. And we knew the reverse was there most of the night. Had not run it. We lost, one of our Z receivers, the one we run the reverse to, had gotten hurt. He was out. We had to take Cade Bryant and put him in for that play. And, it's just one of those things that was a good call at the right time, and it worked out.
36-35, Sylacauga over Anniston last Friday night in overtime. You get to the overtime period, and do you have certain thoughts as to, hey, we've had this, we're going to try this here in overtime to get this win?
Yeah, I mean, and that does happen. As soon as we hit overtime, you had a 3 to 5 minute break before you start overtime play. Coach Collier was up in the box, and we're running through plays. Coach Steers has said we're running through plays. And then we just talked about there's a little what we call our scat sweep, which is a long motion sweep. When we give motion, we're running true veer. And they had been crashing in. We knew there were certain things that could work. We ran through about 5 plays that we liked, and then by the time the coin toss, we were ready. We were ready to do what we wanted to do. And Tashawn makes a good run. Cade Bryant makes a good block. Everybody does their job. We score the first play. The key is those extra points. Mm-hmm. Everybody underestimates the ability to be consistent on the extra points. He never missed one. He never panicked. Cool as a cucumber. And they're different in ball games.
We haven't said a whole lot about defense. It's 36-35, so a lot of points scored. But your defense had to make a stop in overtime, too.
Listen, not only in overtime, they gave us 2 stops in the fourth quarter when we did not. We had 2 bad series in the fourth quarter. 1 when the game was tied, 2 when they scored. We've got 2 opportunities to drive it down and put the game away. We are at least tied up, and we don't do it. And our defense has to hold to give us the ball back. They gave us the ball back 3 times in the fourth quarter to give us a chance to get that thing into overtime. You can't stress it enough. Then you get into overtime, and look, we've got them 4th down. We've got perfect coverage, and the kid just jumps too early. Just a little bit of an inexperience. They should have never scored in overtime, but they do. And then the defense has to stop them on a 2-point fake play. Just a great stand. That's 2 games in a row that I thought our offense and defense fed well off each other. We still have to be a little bit better in our kicking game. It's not a weapon like it should be yet, but we're getting there. It was game two.
Who are some players that kind of jump off the page at you?
Listen, you can't say enough about Derek Carter at defensive tackle, who's everywhere, and you can't say enough about Alex. I mean, we gave the ball to Alex 37 times. I think that set a school record. You know, it was just one of those things that it's going to be in his hands to win the ball game. You can't say enough about Jackson Walker in the fourth quarter, coming up with clutch. DeMarcus Daniel made 2 really good catches and really big runs. I thought Bailey Ward was a heck of a catch to send it to overtime. I mean, it goes on and on. You know, Austin Decker, our left guard's as good as we've had in a long time.
36-35, Sylacauga over Anniston in overtime Friday night. And not only for right now, it has to be a shot in the arm, but possibly later in the year, too, for your club. It has to make you feel good about, hey, we can do this.
Well, and you realize then that kids, they'll never stop believing as long as we can do this and do this, we've got a shot to win. You know, we preach all the time, you win big ball games and you win championships on defense. You have to be good defensively. But the thing about offense, if the offense keeps scoring points, if that team scores points, he never gives up. He always thinks he can win. We had them ready to quit. We get them 3rd and 27, and we give up a wheel route, and it was like a light got launched upon them. They were ready once we went up. I think it was 22 to
and you
whatever.
Sensed that.
I sensed, our kids sensed it. They were tired. Their kids were ready to lay down. We were really fixing to put it away. They scored points, and they never give up. It gives kids hope. You have to take that hope away from them in a ball game sometimes.
Well, big win over Anniston. The Aggies 2-0 on the young season, and another game tomorrow night against the Lincoln Golden Bears. And how do you get your team from a big win last Friday night and get them ready for tomorrow night against a good Lincoln team?
These count. You know, these other twos count for pride, and you want to win a ball game, and in case you get in a tie in the region. This game's the first region game. It's the first meeting between Sylacauga and Lincoln, I think, since early 2000, 2001. So it's been a good 14, 15 years since the schools played. And look, it's a region game. And look, they've got a dangerous quarterback and a dangerous tailback. And you know, our kids have got to get it. We're going to have to play the way we play every week. They'll probably all go down to the wire, and it's going to be that type of season. I've kept telling folks it's probably the hardest schedule that we faced in a long time, and when that happens, you're going to go down the wire.
Certainly, you have plenty of respect for the Lincoln football program and the Lincoln team, but you're more concerned about your team and how the Aggies perform.
Well, look, you know, coaches break down film and get kids prepared for the opposing team. That's going to happen regardless. What you have to do, to me as a high school football coach, is you've got to continue to get better each week to have a shot to win. I'm always more concerned of how much better we're getting defensively and offensively in our kicking game than what the opposing team does. Now, we go in real prepared. We work all day on Saturdays, all days on Sundays to make sure we're prepared. But it's about executing your stuff. Are you executing your stuff better than they're executing theirs? And that's what high school football comes down to.
And finally, this morning, we can't let you go without asking about an update on the remodeling of Legion Stadium.
Yeah, you know, I thought they were supposed to be done by August 31st. It doesn't look like there's a lot of little nitpicky projects now that they're finishing up, mostly on the inside. From what I understand, they are waiting for the fencing to come in, that the fencing will probably be going up next week. That's one of the finishing touches. The scoreboard will be up next week. They ran into some problems of the company that was going to put it up. They've switched companies that's going to put it up. That took a new work order. So that, you know, there's some frustration things, but it's getting there. It's getting there, and it's going to be something. And I know people are running out of patience, But when it's all said and done, they'll forget about it. It's going to be nice.
The biggest thing is you're coaching young men, a football team, trying to get ready.
That's right. That's right.
So, Coach, we appreciate you coming by this morning, and we'll see you tomorrow night at the stadium.
Appreciate it.
All right, more Daybreak just ahead here on TV 47 and the Alabama Cable Network.